Hi, are you excited about moving to Puerto Vallarta full-time or part-time or taking a long vacation? Here are some great tips on some locations you might want to think about. Hi, this is Barbara Talisman, and I lived in Puerto Vallarta for about 7 months. And in another video that you can watch here, I shared with you how I lived for free. But let's talk about how I decided where to live in Puerto Vallarta. And I think it might be useful as you're looking and deciding where you'd like to live and how long you'd like to live there. So I'm going to start at the north end of Puerto Vallarta, which actually borders with the state of Nayarit, and Puerto Vallarta is in Jalisco. Nayarit, or Nuevo Vallarta, is just north of the Jalisco border. It is a large expat community. So the infrastructure, the buildings, the condos, the apartments are all a little newer than what you're going to find in traditional Puerto Vallarta living. So if you'd like to come down to Puerto Vallarta and have more of a lifestyle that you have in the United States or Canada or someplace else, that might be someplace that you want to look at. Again, the same beaches, beautiful beaches like we have in I'm just going to call it old Puerto Vallarta, and easy access. So it's something to think about. And it's north of sort of everything that happens down in Puerto Vallarta. So one of the things about looking at the north side of Puerto Vallarta or into Nayarit is how you're going to get around to all the stuff that's happening in Puerto Vallarta. So Nayarit, beautiful area, nice clean streets and even sidewalks, large expat community. So you'll have lots of friends or you'll make new friends. If you come a little bit farther south to Marina, which is just on the southern border of Jalisco and Nayarit, again, a newer community. Newer condos and apartments and houses, lots of both Nayarit and Marina has the shopping, there's food, there's farmers market. So you could stay up there and not have to go to Puerto Vallarta at all if you wanted to. I think of it as sort of like a suburb of a major city where everything that you need is right there. So if you don't want to go down into the city, you have what you need. So is Nuevo Vallarta and then Marina, again, and it's around a marina. Shocking, huh? That's why it's called Marina. And just below that is the hotel zone. And this is a brand new area that's sort of coming up and coming in Puerto Vallarta. Lots of building going on in 2021 when I was there. And so I was kind of interested in the brand new apartments and living in a new place. And some of them were a little taller and had some amazing views. I will tell you, new construction is a thing going on all over the world. In Puerto Vallarta, in Mexico, it's a little different. It's brand new, just like you would find anywhere. But what we were finding out is that there were a lot of issues within the building itself. In the hotel zone, just for an instance, they had put in new sewage lines, obviously, for this big building. And now it has created sewage problems, forcing water out into older communities with older and smaller sewage lines. So during certain times, they were closing down these water lines and these sewage lines, and it was just a mess of mud, while they were doing all of these repairs. And in the buildings, we were finding out the air conditioning wasn't working as well and things like that. So the idea of new construction always can have some hazards, but it's how they fix them, how quickly they fix them, and that becomes the issue. Mexico moves at a different pace. And so it's something to consider if you want new construction. Maybe you want it a year after somebody's lived in it. Maybe that's an idea. So we did Nueva Vallarta, Marina, and then hotel zone. Something to consider about these is because a lot of stuff happens in the romantic zone and in Emiliano Zapata, which is the same area where all of the bars and restaurants and music and theaters are. So getting from those northern colonia or neighborhoods down to Puerto Vallarta is a little bit of a drive or an Uber. Again, they're very self-contained communities. So you could stay up there and never come down to Puerto Vallarta. Depends on the experience that you want to have while living there. But are you more comfortable in an expat community or are you more comfortable in a local community? So think about that when you're looking at areas that you want to live in. We went farther south and we looked at Las Glorias, at Cinco de Diciembre, and at Centro. So if you look at those three communities, they are deeply entrenched and steeped in the local community. People have been living there for years and years, decades. And it's nice because you have local neighbors and they can be lovely and you really feel like you're part of the community as opposed to a visitor. That's something to think about. So the challenge that I had in those communities is, as I mentioned in the other video, is air conditioning. I didn't want to climb hills. I don't mind steps, but I didn't want to have to climb 6 or 7 stories to get to the apartment every day. So Las Glorias and Cinco de Diciembre has some beautiful local apartments, but many of them are so old, they don't have air conditioners. They haven't been put in, they might have fans, and many of them started creeping up the hills of Puerto Vallarta. So when you're working with somebody or if you're looking at apartments, those are just things to keep in mind while you're looking. We also did go and look down at Emiliano Zapata, or the Romantic Zone, Amapas and Alta Vista, as well as Conchas Chinas up in the hills. So Romantic Zone and Emiliano Zapata is where everything sort of happens. I went to Zumba, and there's a farmer's market there on Saturdays. All the bars and restaurants are there, the theater, the music, indoor movies on the rooftops, and there's a couple Starbucks if you need a Starbucks in Puerto Vallarta. So that is a very happening area, and beautiful beach clubs that I went to on occasion to just enjoy the beach and be served and enjoy great food. So I wanted to see what was available in Emiliano Zapata, as well as Alta Vista and Amapas. Conchas Chinas up in the hills is beautiful, but it is up in a hill. Those areas are very popular for tourists who just come to visit, as well as for people who live there full-time or part-time. The prices reflect that. So those apartments or condos that you're buying or renting are more expensive than those sort of, I'm going to call it mid Puerto Vallarta, Las Glorias, Cinco de Diciembre, and Centro. The apartments there tend to also have air conditioning because tourists that are coming, no matter for how long, they want to be able to cool off. The other thing to think about Emiliano Zapata is that is where all the bars and the clubs are. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when you may be walking around looking for an apartment, that club or restaurant may not be open. So it seems like a very quiet, lovely place to live. Well, that club will open at 9 or 10 at night and go till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. People love living down there. I'm just saying, be cautious of where you are and what's in your surroundings so you don't end up with this 2 o'clock wake up call or enjoying the music in your own apartment. And again, they're beautiful apartments down there. The location cannot be better. You are in the middle of everything. You just want to make sure that it's someplace that you can enjoy. And again, the prices reflect that. So I ended up in Centro, which was right by the Hotel Rosita, which is the oldest hotel and the first hotel in Puerto Vallarta. It was 3 blocks from the beach and the Malecon. So the Malecon is the boardwalk that goes from basically Hotel Rosita all the way down to Emiliano Zapata. I want to say, I walked that all the time, and I want to say it was like 1.5 miles. But it was a beautiful walk, and I often walked it in the morning when it was nice and cool. Beautiful, water on the right and shops and eats and drinks on the left. And it's just a really lovely place there. And it goes all night long. So it was nice that I could just walk 3 blocks from my apartment during the morning and get a workout or walk down to the Zumba class or on Saturdays to the farmer's market. When you're looking, location, right, is all over the world in terms of real estate. What is the kind of life you want to have? Do you want to be down where all the parties and the restaurants and the clubs are so that you can literally walk out your door and stumble home? Or would you like a more local experience, less touristy, in a colonia or a neighborhood that is more locally based and local neighbors? Or would you like to live farther north in Hotel Zone, Marina, Nayarit, and Nuevo Vallarta, where there's a larger expat community? So think about all those things and ask yourself those questions while you're looking for someplace to live. Wherever you live, you're going to enjoy Puerto Vallarta. If you're finding some value in what I'm offering you, please like and subscribe and ring that bell so that you'll get a notification when I post my next video. Thanks for watching.